Before we begin any of our video tutorials, I think it's important that both my version of PicturesToExe is set up much the same as yours. If we're going to be going through projects, we need to be seeing the same things. We did go through these settings in our animation and slide style set of videos, but just to be sure we're all going to be doing the same thing, let's quickly run through them again here. The first thing I want to check is to make sure that I've got my full slide duration set in the preferences, which ensures that the slide duration shown on the front bottom right corner of these thumbnails matches with what we see in the object and animation screen. So let's go to the settings at the top of the screen, Preferences, and to the Project option. We need to make sure that we've got this box ticked, Show Full Slide Duration, and also Keep Full Slide Duration. And while we're here, make sure this box is also unticked. I think you'll find it's ticked by default. We do not want to scale keyframes in objects when we change the slide duration as we build our animations. Let me quickly remind you what we've done with that change. We've just made sure that this value here that we can see at 7 seconds is measured with the transition on screen plus the time the image is on screen plus the transition off screen, which in fact is the transition on of the next slide. So in our case here, we've got 2 seconds on, we've got 3 seconds on screen fully, and we've got 2 seconds off. In total, there's our 7 seconds full slide duration. We've already turned off the scaling of keyframes because we was in the right place to do so. When we're putting together animation, it's not uncommon to want to increase the slide duration. Unless that little box is ticked, then PicturesToExe will scale the keyframes that we've placed. Now, if we've placed those keyframes pretty carefully, I'm not sure it's very helpful if they start to get stretched and moved. If we want to move them, then it's pretty quick and easy for us to do so. Now I want to make a change so that my keyframes are not measured from the very start of the slideshow, but I see a measurement for each individual slide. For example, if I was to select the last slide in this sequence for a moment, and I open up my objects and animation screen, you can see that the first of the keyframes that's created automatically seems to be located at the 25-second point. Well, of course, that's 25 seconds into our slideshow. What I'd like to do is to go down to the Tools, bottom right, and untick the Show Global Times of Keyframes. Dead easy to retick it, or we've even got a nice keyboard shortcut of Alt-G. But I'm going to remove that tick, because now my keyframes are measuring just this slide, and I find that far more useful and easier to work with when I create animation. Throughout this set of videos, I also intend to standardize and use images that have been cropped to 1920 by 1080, unless I particularly feel the need for something bigger, and then I think we can deal with that at the time. It will save us needing to refer to the images we are using in our demos, so unless we say different, they're going to be 1920 by 1080. Of course, you don't have to work at this aspect ratio if you don't wish to. What you choose is a personal choice of your own.